All right, what is going on, Ravens flock? Coming back at you here with another video, and we'll be going behind enemy lines with the Miami Dolphins. So, obviously, the Ravens beat the Jets week one. A lot of key things that I think that I highlighted in the last video was the Jets, their edge group, what they looked like, and a few other things. Their offensive line being beat up. So, without further ado, we will go ahead and get into this video. So in the offseason, the Dolphins add Tyreek Hill. Obviously, they trade a first and second round pick for him. Pretty huge addition. Very good football player. Um, the first game, he had 12 targets, 8 catches, and 94 yards. So pivotal role in this offense. You have Melvin Ingram, added late veteran edge. Trey Flowers, another veteran edge. Cedric Wilson, receiver from the Cowboys. Teron Armstead, pretty elite tackle from the Saints. Connor Williams, a pretty good interior offensive lineman from the Cowboys. And then they hire Mike McDaniel as their head coach. So very, very good additions here. And then they have Devontae Parker leaving to the Patriots, Jesse Davis leaving, and then Brian Flores, their former head coach, is joining Pittsburgh as the assistant. So all in all, it's a very positive season for the positive all season for the Dolphins. I think that Tyreek Hill, once again, is a very good football player. So it's hard to kind of put in the words of how good that addition is for them. And then same with Ron Armstead, another good football player, just battling injuries. So no need to waste time to get into the injury portion. So they have Teron Armstead obviously did not practice today, and this is a Wednesday, so this is Wednesday at 10:30. So not the official injury report of who's going to be playing, who's not, but how to get this video done before the week's end. So Teron Armstead, big name, did not practice today. Melvin Ingram, vet day, and then Austin Jackson with his ankle injury did not practice. So same thing with Cedric Wilson as well, another important player to name. So all in all, those are a few guys that are out, and we will get into what that means for the tackle situation they have going on. But I think that if you're a Dolphins fan and you think of like, okay, these are the guys we kind of got injured this week, you get pretty concerned after the Ravens week one performance in the defensive line. So I think that the defensive line of the Ravens should have another matchup advantage like they did in the Jets game. But this is a Jets or a other away team series where we try to focus on their perspective and such. So their depth chart on offense, they have obviously the big two in Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, and then you go into their offensive line, which I don't think that's very deep. You have Teron Armstead, Liam Eichenberg, Connor Williams, Robert Hunt, and Austin Jackson. And then most likely Greg Little is going to be a starter. And they also signed Brandon Shell, which we'll get into later about the tackle spot. But their interior really isn't that good, in my opinion. And I think this is something that teams can expose pretty easily. And then you go to the running back group, which is okay. You have Raheem Mostert and Chase Edmonds, and then you have Myles Gaskin to back them up. So it's a fine running back group, especially in a wide zone scheme. And then you have Tua Tagovailoa as their quarterback. Tua just doesn't move the needle for me. Even if he does play well this season, like 25, 26, 27 touchdowns, he's just he's not a game winning type quarterback. He's more of a game managing type quarterback. So flip to the defense, you have Christian Wilkins, Raekwon Davis, and Emmanuel Ogbah as your front three in that 3-4 defense. You have Jalen Phillips and Melvin Ingram coming off the edge, and then you have Jerome Baker and Elena Roberts as your two starting inside linebackers. Wilkins, I like Ogbah. I think Raekwon Davis is okay, but not a scary front three. And then you have Jalen Phillips, who I liked a lot coming out of that 2021 draft. And they have Melvin Ingram and Trey Flowers kind of rotating in for that third or that second edge spot. And then Andrew Van Ginkel is kind of their Sam linebacker. So all in all, not a scary front seven, but it is a good front seven. I think it'll be another good test for the offensive lines that they play. And then getting to the secondary, They have Xavier Howard, Nick Needham, Noah Bahagne, and then Brandon Jones, Javon Holland, and obviously Eric Rowe did not practice today on Wednesday. So missing Byron Jones is going to be pretty key for them, in my opinion. I think that Byron Jones is a huge loss, huge number two corner, um, and I think that the to put it in the Ravens' perspective, this this secondary could get exposed a little bit this game. I'm not a huge believer in those two other corners that they have, and Nick Needham and Noah, but we'll see what happens. You have Javon Holland, pretty good safety, very rangy, very fast, very physical. So to get into their key positional battles, they have obviously at right tackle with Greg Little and Austin Jackson. So this is because of the injury. Um, it's still questionable on which one starts, whether it is Austin Jackson or Greg Little. I would probably say it's going to be Greg Little, just because maybe they want to preserve Austin Jackson for help down the road. But um, Greg Little's not a great tackle. They signed Brandon Shell from the Seahawks, so another name to throw out there. He's a serviceable tackle, and I think he could get the job done way better than these two guys. But if I'm a Dolphins fan, I'm pretty concerned if Greg Little is trouting out there at right tackle. So yeah, getting to the edge group. So their second edge rusher, I think the snaps will most likely split between these guys. You have Melvin Ingram, Trey Flowers, and Andrew Van Ginkel. Once again, Andrew Van Ginkel, more of a Sam, uh, drop him to coverage a little bit, kind of have him show pressure and then drop off. Trey Flowers and Melvin Ingram, later stages of the career, I think those guys are serviceable and solid. Melvin Ingram has a fumble return touchdown that first week against the Patriots. So um, all in all, I think if you're a Dolphins fan, you're feeling pretty confident about what these three guys can provide as your second guy coming off the line of scrimmage. And yeah, not a huge concern if and not a weakness for this team. So three pretty good football players there, and then you have the cornerback two position battle. You have Nick Needham and you have Noah Ingbenahagne. Um, I'll get the name right eventually, hopefully by the end of this video. But yeah, I think that once again, two pretty good football players and probably two different position usage wise, slot and outside corner. But I do think that one of these two can provide serviceable play. Um, it just all depends on who they go up against because Noah is not the fastest and neither is Nick. So yeah, I just think that this is once again something the teams could expose. It just depends on how these guys play. But um, you know, with their safety group and how they run defense, I think that this will be a okay. And then going to the overview, so obviously tackle health is a huge question coming to this game. You have Tron Armstead who didn't practice. You have Austin Jackson didn't practice. So you're looking at Brandon Shell and Greg Little as their healthy tackles right now. Brandon Shell got signed today as of Wednesday. So that's pretty concerning if you're going to have that guy start this game. But if Tron Armstead is out there, then you feel way better. And then, throw whoever at right tackle, and I think you may be okay. But overall, the tackle situation is not looking the best right now. And then their offensive line play, it's bottom 10 in my opinion, bottom 12, even with no Teron Armstead healthy. Um, they just don't have very good interior play or even tackle play on the other side as well. So it's kind of Teron Armstead carrying everything. And then defensive line play, top 15 in my opinion. I think it's going to be fine. I think their run defense is good. I think their pass rush is okay. And it's not necessarily going to lose them any games. So moving on, Tua. I'm not a believer in Tua. I think Tua is a game managing quarterback. His ceiling is like in the realms of Derek Carr and Kirk Cousins and Dak Prescott. I know that's a hot take, but I think there's, just in the realm of game managing quarterbacks, you're not necessarily winning because of their arm, but sometimes you're not necessarily losing because of their arm. But one thing that is a strength is their weapons. Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Mike Gesicki, Cedric Wilson, all three very good football players. Obviously, um, Tyreek Hill, all pro. Um, Jalen Waddle, very good wide receiver from last year's class. And then Mike Gesicki, very good tight end. So this is going to be a huge strength for this team. Very, very curious to see how they perform coming up here week 2. Can they maybe take advantage of the Ravens not having a second corner out there if Marcus Peters isn't out there? We will see. But going to the Dolphins secondary, so obviously Byron Jones is out, but you have Xavier Howard, Javon Holland. There's two pretty good talented corners replacing Byron Jones, and then you have Brandon Jones and Eric Rowe rotating in. So all in all, pretty good secondary. I would say top 12 because Byron Jones is out, but if Byron Jones is in there week 4, I think he comes off pup. So it should be a top 10 group by the time Byron Jones is in there. But um, just I'm not confident in the second corner play, but I think everything else is just fine. So all in all, very curious to see how these 5 things play out this week against the Ravens, and then we will go on to the schedule prediction. So I have them at 9-8. Obviously, they beat the Patriots, so you gotta have to put that win in there for them. Um, but you look at the schedule, man, and you got your Ravens in Baltimore. You have Buffalo, the Bengals, the Vikings, the Steelers, the Browns, the 49ers, the Chargers, Buffalo again, Green Bay, New England. Like, those are just some ridiculous teams. And I don't see this team necessarily finishing at some ridiculous like 11-6 record or 12-5. I just don't think that they have the facilities yet in the offensive line, and their quarterback play is very unproven. So, you know, maybe they pick up a few games against these tough teams. Maybe they beat the Ravens next week, and that kind of like sets the statement. Um, Maybe they beat a team like the 49ers who don't pick it up by that time with Trey Lance. Maybe they beat a team like the Vikings who, you know, maybe more of a fluke win against the Packers. Who knows? It's early in the season, but I have them going 9-8. And then looking ahead to the 2023 free agent. So you have Mike Gesicki as a free agent. They're starting tight end, pretty good football player, top 6, top 7, top 5 tight end, however you want to put it. Teddy Bridgewater, whatever. Eric Rowe, I would let him go. Melvin Ingram, veteran edge player, maybe bring him back for a year. But, you know, you got Andrew Van Ginkel on the other side. You have, Greg Little, tackle depth, and then Nick Needham. Um, you know, I'm not going crazy about these free agents in terms of losing them. It's a lot of them. It really is. Like, I had to put this is the first one I have to put 2 pictures of the free agents up yet. But I'm not crazy about losing Mike Gesicki. Excuse me. Yeah, no, actually, honestly, I'm not with the tight end classes coming up. I think if you have a first round pick and you're not going to be trading that for a quarterback, um, there's a lot of good tight ends coming out of this class. I think you can replace Mike Gesicki with, just because Mike Gesicki is good at receiving, but not the greatest blocker. And I think there's a lot of better whole complete package tight ends coming out in this class. So all in all, not a drastic free agency class where you can see a turning of the guard. It's just a lot of depth players and maybe 1 or 2 starters in there. So that about does it for the Miami Dolphins breakdown. I think that, if you're a Dolphins fan, you feel good about the season. You got Tyreek Hill, you got Jalen Waddle, you have your good secondary, you have a good front seven. The defense is going to play well regardless. So um, we'll see what happens. Once again, I have them going 9-8. I don't think they. I don't. If I was going to do an over and under, I don't know what theirs is at, but I would take the under. Um, I just think that the schedule's really rough, despite being, I think, the third or fourth team in the division last year, and they did go 9-8 last year, 8-9, something like that. So um, we'll see what happens week 2 versus the Ravens. I think the Ravens win by a pretty good margin. I have the score at 33-13 right now. A lot of people want to push the agenda of Lamar Jackson going to Miami just because that's his hometown and such. But keep in mind, the Dolphins only have $328,000 in cap space next year, and their first round pick that they currently own, is forfeited, and then the other first round pick that they got was from the 49ers, which should be a playoff team, so it'll be in the late 20s expectedly. So yeah, uh, it's a good roster. I just think they have a little more work to do on the offensive line, and I think that with Byron Jones being out, that and maybe even Teron Armstead, that's a pretty significant hit to their team. But that does it for the Dolphins going behind enemy lines video. If you have any thoughts or comments, drop them below, and I will be sure to answer. Please like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. If you see this on Twitter, please retweet it. Trying to get this channel to 100 subscribers before week 8, and yeah, appreciate you guys. Have a good night and peace.